Said, why didn't we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? He said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better.
2 days ago, Donald Trump stood on the tarmac during the dignified transfer of 6 American soldiers killed in his illegal war of choice with Iran, wearing a Chinese-made piece of crap campaign hat from his own damn merch shop. That's what he did. 6 American service members came home in coffins. Flag-draped transfer cases carried slowly across the runway while their families stood feet away, watching the worst moment of their lives unfold. And the President of the United States showed up dressed like a walking advertisement. At a dignified transfer, civilians remove their hats. That's the protocol. It's the most basic gesture of respect the living offer the dead. But the stupid hat stayed on. Not a military cap, not something ceremonial. Just a cheap Chinese-made campaign trinket he sells online, perched there under the cameras while coffins rolled past beneath it, advertising above the runway while the dead returned home below it. Because to Donald Trump, those soldiers are not sons, not daughters, not human beings whose families will spend the rest of their lives learning how to breathe around an absence that used to laugh at the dinner table. They're scenery. Patriotic stage dressing rolled out when the cameras arrive. And while the country was learning yesterday that a 7th American soldier had died in this illegal war of choice, where was Donald Trump? Golfing.
Appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The Commander-in-Chief
Yes or no?
can wear whatever hat he wants to include the phrase, make America great again, because I would like to make America great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The Commander-in-Chief has the right in front of his troops to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you. And I urge you both, especially you, General Kane, as we see an increasingly political rhetoric, including from the Secretary, to please, for the good of our troops, this is an incredibly difficult moment, and we need leaders like you to continue to echo the apolitical nature. I have 12 seconds. Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign. I yield back.
Public PSA to everyone watching, don't stop talking about the Epstein files. There are over 1,000 Epstein survivors who have yet to get justice and accountability. And yeah, we're in a war, and oftentimes, even myself, we get caught up in the news of the day. But there are so many survivors still looking for justice, still looking for the truth, still looking for accountability, and they haven't gotten it. Epstein coverage has fallen, like 80% at this point, since the war started. And yes, there's still a push on Capitol Hill and elsewhere to get to the truth, but it's being drowned out by what's happening overseas. And so my dedication to you is I'm going to diversify my coverage. We're going to talk about Iran, but we're also going to talk about Epstein. But I need your help to do it. Share this, spread the word, keep talking about it. The more you talk about it, the more people see. And we can't stop fighting until all the survivors get justice and accountability. Whether we're in a war or not, it doesn't matter. This is a story that cannot go away. It cannot.
Talk about wrecking ball presidency. I mean, certainly reflected symbolically and substantively in the imperial palace that he's trying to, the Kremlin West Wing that he's trying to recreate. All this has, Donald Trump, you know, it's all about destruction, and destruction is not strength. He's not a builder. Remember years ago, it was like, who's this Ryburn guy? He says, well, he had a great quote. I always remember the quote when I was a kid. He goes, any jackass can, you know, knock down a barn. It takes a skilled carpenter to build one. Forgive me, but Donald Trump is a jackass. I believe that.
Squarely within the law. He used his discretion and his authority and the intelligence that he had, exquisite as it was, as is demonstrated by its effectiveness, and he did what he should have done as a commander-in-chief. The idea that a few colleagues here would try to move a war powers motion and resolution to the floor right now is dangerous.
So let me give you some context. That's Speaker Mike Johnson saying that if Congress tried to limit the president's war powers right now, that would be dangerous. So Mike Johnson, the leader of the House of Representatives, one half of our Congress, believes that Congress doing their constitutional duty is dangerous. Mike Johnson believes it would be dangerous for Congress to do exactly what the Constitution demands of them to do.
Imagine a scenario where Congress would vote to tell the commander-in-chief that he was no longer allowed to complete this mission. That would be a very dangerous thing.
Hey, MAGA Mike, that's not a hard scenario to imagine because it's the exact scenario that was imagined when the framers of the Constitution wrote the goddamn Constitution. You see, they had just left England where there was a king and a monarchy, and when they wrote the Constitution, their entire mindset was, how do we prevent one person from becoming so powerful that they themselves become a king? And one way they did that was to have 3 separate branches of government that performed checks and balances on each other. And one of those checks and balances was to give the power to declare war to Congress and the power of purse strings over war to Congress. So if you're saying, MAGA Mike Johnson, that the president has put us into such a predicament that we can't back out, that now we're stuck, then that means the president unilaterally took an act of war that has catapulted America into a position where there's no turning back. And that's exactly what the Constitution was trying to prevent, you illiterate fuck.
You see that Iran is firing almost seemingly indiscriminately at targets. They're trying to intimidate America. They're trying to test our resolve.
That's because we attacked them. That's because we attacked them. There was no imminent threat. They were no threat to us. And then we attacked them because Israel told us to, because America isn't first. And you are now defending the actions of a president who unilaterally took actions that the Constitution does not give him under the guidance of another country. You understand? You're a fucking traitor.
Acts like fascism, dresses like fascism, talks like fascism, kills like fascism, and lies like fascism. Brothers and sisters, it's fucking fascism.
This is how I'm saving money.
Lay down suppressive fire. Go, go. Keep them pinned while Bravo crosses. Echo Squad on me. We're moving to the archway. Thunder Actual. This is Shepard 1. Dogs are in position. Pushing east. Need air cover and 2 mics over. Keep firing. Keep moving.
The story is not that gas prices are spiking due to Trump's war in Iran. In fact, when it comes to energy prices, the real story started 13 months ago. Because Trump didn't just bomb a major oil producer that also controls the Strait of Hormuz. He did it at the worst possible time, virtually ensuring that this could only go one way. The worst one. In fact, there's a version of this crisis where millions of American families are significantly less exposed to the economic consequences of his recklessness. A version where millions of families have solar panels on their homes, and their electric costs don't move when oil spikes. And where millions more are driving EVs, and they're watching gas prices go up on the news and not at the pump. But because of Trump's malignant incompetence, that version of reality is a pipe dream. The day Trump took office, he signed executive orders that paused new wind and solar permits on federal lands, that halted offshore wind leasing entirely, and that canceled permits for wind projects that had already been approved. Then a month later, his administration froze the Solar for All program, which was designed to put solar panels on low-income homes, which house the people who are most sensitive to energy cost spikes. That program was then terminated entirely by the big bullshit bill. bill. But that's not all the big bullshit bill did, because it also eliminated the federal tax credit for new wind and solar projects, which effectively ended the incentive pipeline for commercial-scale new energy. The bill also killed the residential solar tax credit, which was a 30% deduction that homeowners could claim when they install solar panels on their house. It eliminated the EV purchase tax credit. So if you were going to buy an EV, and now it's more affordable to buy a gas-powered vehicle, congratulations, you're now at the whim of Trump's foreign policy and whatever Iran decides to do with that 21 miles of water. And lastly, he killed the EV charging infrastructure credit, virtually paralyzing investment in the EV grid that's required for EV adoption to be viable at scale. In an energy market that relied entirely too much on oil for the better part of a century, under Obama and Biden, the United States finally got to a place where we were less dependent on foreign oil, because both of those Democratic presidents worked to significantly increase domestic production while diversifying the energy grid, all while actually doing something to help the climate. And critically, this helped protect us from supply disruptions, not unlike the one Donald Trump just chose for us as he attacked Iran, but not before he took every alternative to oil off the table. Fact is, in this country, when it comes to the cost of energy, Donald Trump threw us all into an oil well and pulled up the ladder.
Well, 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 and welcome to another day in the United States of war and hell. Now, this is my Sunday, and I want to take the day off. But they're not going to play in my face, and they're not going to play in yours either, so allow me to pour the tea while Daddy Dumpy Pants is sitting up there, the pedo-in-chief that he be, along with his cockerhead cracker clansman, Peter Keg's breath, trying to tell you they've got this shit under control, boo. It'll be over soon. And you would think, by this headline today, maybe we're about to close up this little war play. Iran's new supreme leader has been selected, says the deciding body. But according to Netanyahu, we're just getting started, boo. Because Israel has warned it will pursue Iran's next supreme leader, too. Because it was never about regime change. It was never about nuclear weapons. It was never about oil. It was never about them abusing their people. It was never about an imminent threat on the American people. It was about a Zionistic play, a man who has had too much power for way too fucking long and needs to be locked up today, wanting to rid the entire Middle East of all Muslims. If you think he's gonna stop dragging the United States into war in the Middle East, you've got another thing coming, honey. You've got another thing coming. I hate to break it to you today, but the President of the United States got played. And it's costing the lives of American servicemen and citizens. But, you know, the orange man, that's to be expected, dear. Apparently, he's okay calling America the greatest country on the planet today, the hottest it's ever been, and then in the same goddamn breath uttering out of his face, it's just normal to walk around this place in fear of your life every day, you know. Americans should just get used to walking around being in fear for their life. That sounds real great, don't it? That sounds like living in the most powerful, most greatest place on the planet when the president acknowledges himself that you should just, you know, get used to walking around every day in fear for your safety and your life. Yeah. We're fucking great, all right. A great big mess, honey. A great big mess. Who can't clean up our own mess, but let's go start some mess somewhere else. Right? And it's not good enough that he's been drug into a mess in the Middle East. He's going to allow Netanyahu to drag us into a mess in the Western Hemisphere. South of us, dear. It just floors me how people in my own country just sit back and think it's status quo, that this is just normal politics and this is just the way things go. It's not. It's not normal politics. We are not living in normal times. It's not just a normal Republican doing Republican shit. That's not what's happening here. A fat, feckless fool is being played, and it's going to cost me and you. Not just money, not just lives, but, baby, our future too. Our children's future too. It's time to clean up our own house. It's time to clean our own house. And anybody sitting in this country today that thinks it's our responsibility in any kind of way to protect Israel, you need to pack your motherfucking bags and go to Israel. If it's so important to you to protect Israel today at the cost of American lives and our children's future, then get on a plane and take your ass over there to protect Israel. Because nothing about this is America first. And it's not ending anytime soon. Dudu said it, honey. Dudu said it. He's already got his sights set on the next Iranian supreme leader. And his plan involves the American man putting his life on the line again. You got red hats in this country today hooping and hollering and praising this war play. So easy to distract all of you. When that fatback fool decides it's okay to kill children that are brown across the way, just so you won't focus on the fact that he raped little white kids here. Right? That'll appease your racism and your need to see black and brown people die today. Right? Appease that need. Look away from the fact that he raped white kids. Right? Is that good enough for you? Can you overlook that today? Little white boys and girls being tortured, abused, and raped? Because that's what America's doing right now. Half of America is salivating over little brown kids having their limbs blown off so they don't have to face the reality of the man who's blowing those little kids' limbs off today raped white kids. Just keep living in your delusion. That'll make it better, right? Maybe when that white man here in this country comes along and hems up your child and takes her to a basement somewhere and ties her the fuck up and rapes her, maybe he'll kill some more brown kids to make you feel better. And y'all wonder why you 3-time Trump voters on the internet crying, and you're wondering, and you're fucking wondering why we're not, come here, let me pat you on the back and give you a motherfucking cookie today. Get the fuck out of my face. No, this war's not ending anytime soon. Not ending anytime soon. Not according to the President of the United States, Netanyahu. Right? He controls the United States. He tells what the United States to do. He gets himself little senators and he pads their pockets. And then they do whatever they need to do to keep that money on the flow to them, honey, by, convincing the president this is in his best interest and shit. Yesterday, I made a video where I called out Lady G, Sugarfoot, Lindsey Graham, said he's a treasonous son of a bitch, baby. And some people got up in my comments to say, technically, Israel's our ally today, so this isn't a treasonous play. When the intel in the United States that was presented to the president directly contradicted what Lindsey Graham was telling him, that's treason. Ally or not, that's treason. Our president had all the information he needed. His top advisors, other than the little fucking anal polyp that is Stephen Miller. But everybody else with an education in the military and intelligence too said no. There's no need to do this. It will cost more than it's worth today. This is not in the best interest of the United States. And forgive me if I'm wrong here, but the job of the president and our senators and our representatives too is to do what is in the best interest of me and you. And the fact that Lindsey Graham went against what was the best intelligence on what was the best thing to do for his constituents and the American people, yeah, that's treason. Ally or not today, but I'm tired of people calling Israel an ally, because in what kind of way are they our fucking ally today? Please explain. Are any of the products in your home today, is there a little sticker on them that says made in Israel? No. Nothing in your fucking home was made in Israel. All Israel has ever done was been a very costly mistress to America, hon. They take. That's it. That's not an ally. They don't provide us with accurate intelligence. They provide us with propaganda and lies. They pay our senators and our representatives to go against our best interest. That's not an ally. So when you collude with a supposed ally to convince the United States to go against their best interest, it's fucking treason. Plain and simple. Happy motherfucking Sunday.
They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus from South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa, from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement. Hika hata anda ata ora bata rata ande eke manda rasata.
Or the president could do some of this shit I'm doing. Or the president could do some of this shit I'm doing. Or the president could do some of this shit I'm doing. Or the
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. The testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Let's see. Am I coming through? Good morning. All right. Well, welcome to the Christina Talks show. I know that's what it felt like there. Christina taking over. Thank you, Aaron. The thumbs up. I wanted to cut down that clip because it was so long, the Christina Talks one. But I just couldn't. She was on fire. Christina Talks on fire and just speaking truth to power. Just I just couldn't. I couldn't cut any of that. So I played her whole clip, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think she's really wonderful and is really spot on. Before I talk anymore, I just got to say thank you. I see Michael McAndrews and DPD each with $50 super chats. You guys are amazing. Starting us right off with that. I'm speechless. Michael McAndrews says we lost some soldiers. Fuck you, Trumpy. DPD says fuck the Nazis. Yeah, I'm sensing some hostility. I'm sensing we're all a little pissed. I'm more than a little pissed, and we should be. with this fucknut in the White House, with this orange pedophile motherfucker in the White House. I can sense we're getting angry, and it's good. Good. It's time that we get angry. I was just counting the months off as I was watching the intro. How many fucking months is it until November? We're still like 9 months away. So much shit can happen in 9 months. Just think what's happened in the last 9 months. I mean, it's just, I think the reason that I think Trump ages everyone, because I think during his first term, I think I aged 10 years in a 4-year period, probably more. And I think already it's been barely over a year. I think I've already aged another 10 years. And it's because there's just so much fucking shit that he puts us through every single day. It's something with this motherfucker. It's always something, man, with this motherfucker, and it wears on you. It wears you down. That's his thing is wearing us down. So we can't get wore down. We got to remain tough and resilient. Again, if you need to take little breaks, I've been taking little breaks, and I think it's because I want to get a car so badly, and I've been looking at cars and things, and so my YouTube viewing has been all of these car shows, these car channels where they find cars in a barn. They do barn finds. They find cars that have been sitting in a field for 20 or 30 years, and I'm always amazed how they basically right off the bat can get those things to turn over and crank over and start. It's really amazing with very little work. And then of course, then they go through it and get it all fixed up. But I guess that's been my little reprieve from all this Trump bullshit, is watching all these cars. I've been watching probably a half a dozen on a kind of regular basis of these car channels where they find cars and fix them up. So I guess we all need a little diversion, a little distraction, a little rest from it. But God, every time we turn around, Trump is doing some other kind of bullshit, man. He's doing some bullshit, and it's just, pray to God we can make it through these next 9 months. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate you. It's 9:45 a.m. Instead of doing 11, I know I had said I was going to do like 11 a.m.s. I figured I would get up early, and I made the intro, and that's why I'm a little late getting started with again. It's not so much today. I had it all together and edited pretty well. I think it was 9 a.m. and I think I just finished editing, and then I was downloading and stuff. So anyhow, but I know I was going to say 11. I just felt like going at 9 today. That way I can get out of here earlier and get to work, because I still need to make sure I go to work, get my bills paid, and also and I'm saving money for a car, man. So and thank you guys for all your support. I appreciate it so much. It's coming in. It's helping out so much. And before you know it, I will be in a car. I will be in a vehicle. And it'll be thanks to you guys. So anyhow, let's see. I know that I believe Jolie was first today, followed by Sandy. And then we got Paul Burrows here. James Jaramillo's here. Malio's here. Aaron West is here. So I believe we're still at full mod capacity. I believe. Oh Lord, I believe we're still at full mod capacity. I am behind in the chat, so hopefully everyone's still here. I see DPD, of course, is here. James Jaramillo. William is here. Hello, William. Good to see you. We got 33 watching. Only 30 thumbs up, so we just went down to 31 with 32 thumbs up. So now we're back to being good Democrats with a slight surplus. I'm not sure I like how that happened. 2 people turned away. I guess they're like, "What's with this full mod capacity thing? I'm out of here. See ya. I'll go watch Tom Hartman." Tom Hartman doesn't do that shit, So I don't know. Let's see. Penny to Create is here. Hello, Penny to Create. Good to see you. Oh, thanks for being here. I do see it. Jolie says, I just woke up. I just woke up. That's okay. Wake up to Trucker John. Pour yourself a cup of coffee. That's what I got. Made myself some coffee. I had a Jimmy Dean sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich while I was watching the intro. Then, for good measure, I made myself 2 slices of toast with some strawberry jelly. It goes good with the coffee. You know? Do you know what I mean? Do you know? So now I'm just coming along into the chat here. Well, Surrender Monkey says, I heard the 3 F-15 Strike Eagles were shot down by Kuwait American-supplied Hornets. Now, I think you're talking about, wasn't that very early on, like the first or second day? Is that unless there was another one. But yeah, that was the friendly fire, the so-called friendly fire thing, and just illustrates what a clusterfuck the whole operation is. Sec Def Pete Hegseth, I think he should take all the blame for that. Just, just being just leading a real not very well organized mission, or whatever you want to call this, war. And so I think there was communication breakdown, and that's why Kuwait shot our planes down. And so just now, I'm just now getting to Michael McAndrews. I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart. Yippee, Michael McAndrews. I didn't say yippee earlier, did I? Thank you so much for that very generous donation. I appreciate you. Michael says we lost some soldiers. F you, Trumpy. Yeah, we've lost. My last count I heard is at least 7. And a lot of people are saying that they wouldn't be surprised if it's been more than that, and the Trump administration is hiding some of those numbers, trying to hide some of the actual stats. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would not be surprised. Nothing surprises me now with this administration in terms of lies. You can pretty much count on almost anything that comes out of that man's mouth, Donald Trump, and his underlings are all lies. That's the thing about being a liar, is that if you are telling the truth, well, how can we believe you? Because you've lied so fucking much. And Donald Trump is just about everything that comes out of his fucking mouth is a lie. So, DPD says, Lord have mercy, I feel her words in my soul and core. Talking about Christina. Yeah, she just was, like I said, I had to put the whole thing. I couldn't trim that down. It was just, the whole thing from start to finish was very powerful. Patrazi, 1920s in the chat. Patrazi. Good to see you, Patrazi. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. Woke Mike is here. This is Christina Talks. Yes, that was Christina Talks. Almost like a special guest. She was on so long. Anna Moore says, looking at the whole administration, they have all committed treason against our country. Every single last one of them, you're right. They should be brought up on trial. Like the Nuremberg. Everyone talks about the Nuremberg trials. We need to have our version of that. Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, Hegseth, of course, Trump, all of them. Fucking all of them. They need to be tried and convicted and sentenced and have the sentence carried out. And here's the DPD $50. Thank you. Yippee, DPD. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. There's a thumbs up and a heart for you. And DPD said, uck the Nazis. But thank you so much. Yeah, they're talking about Nuremberg. Yeah, we have our own version right now of these fucking Nazi administration. And if there is a God in heaven and there is any justice in this life, those motherfuckers will go down and they will face justice and be sentenced and have justice carried out. Michael McAndrews says, love you guys. Got some work to do. I will be listening. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Brooklyn's here. Hey, Brooklyn SJU. Brooklyn, where you been? Where you been, Brooklyn? Good to see Brooklyn in the house, in the driver's lounge. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for being here. James Harmio is here. Good to see James. I see you, James. I see you in there. I see you lurking back in there in the driver's lounge. John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad. I'm always glad to see John Glad. And no, that's not a banana in my pocket. Sir Nemeka says, John looks like he's fizzy like when I wake up. Am I blurry? Am I a little blurry? There might be a little, maybe there's a little something on the camera. Let's see. On the camera lens. Let's see here. Let me give it a wipe. Let me know if that looks better. I think it does. I think that does look better, Surrender Monkey. Is that better? I think it is. Should always remember, wipe the camera lens before starting the show. I think that's much better, actually. Janelle Walker's here. Hello, Janelle. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I know I always see Janelle in other chats, and Janelle's always saying hello. So hello back at you. There and here. Robert Perez is here from San Diego. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Robert says, top of the morning to you, Trucker John, and a hearty howdy to all the lovely liberals in the lounge. All the lovely liberals. Where do they all belong? They belong right here on the Trucker John live stream. That's where you all belong. You belong right here in the Trucker John live stream, in the Trucker John Driver's Lounge. The good old Driver's Lounge. John Glad says, anger leads to violence, justified, but still not good. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a scary times. What's going to happen? And violence leads to people getting hurt. And we don't want that, but and I'm not suggesting that or promoting that. I'm promoting peaceful protest, making sure we vote. We do have, like I've said before, we've got No Kings coming up March 28th. I believe you can go to nokings.org and get all the information you need as far as what's going on in your area. No thrones, no crowns. That's what the Jolly Good Ginger was talking about, right? Anna Moore says TJ not only is he, Trump, an orange pedophile, but a delusional one with great power because of the GOP, impeach 47. Yeah, the GOP are total sycophants, and they're allowing this shit. I keep hearing people want to blame the Democrats. Democrats aren't doing enough. The Democrats aren't applying enough pressure. Now, I'll agree. Maybe we need more Democrats to get in front of microphones and say the things that need to be said. But other than that, Democrats really can't do anything. That's why it's so important to vote, and it's so important to get the numbers, get the majorities. That's why I always say vote blue no matter who, which I don't say that so much anymore, because then people are always like, I'm not a sheep. I'm not a sheep. I'm not just going to vote blue. I'm not just going to vote for Democrats. So, okay, whatever. But just know that if there's anything near and dear to your heart, the things that you believe in, like, I don't know, maybe healthcare for all, like a national healthcare system, I don't know, maybe being less dependent on foreign oil, moving towards green renewables. Maybe that's important to you. Maybe a woman's choice to a woman to have choice over their own bodies, bodily autonomy. Maybe that's important to you. Maybe just, higher wages, better job opportunities, better educational opportunities. Maybe those are the things that are important to you. If those really are the things that you care about, then it is important who you vote for. And you need to realize that the Republicans don't give a shit about any of that. All they care about is giving tax breaks to the uber rich, the ultra uber rich. That's all they care about. That's their number one reason for existing. So if you're voting for Republicans and there's things you care about, and I guess if you care about, being a racist and having an administration that carries out racism, things like that, then I guess you would vote for Republicans. But at least just be honest and stop lying to us. I'm not, and I know no one in this chat. I'm not talking about in this chat, but just in general, we have people. We always wonder, why do they vote against their own best interests? Some of them aren't. They have found that the Trump administration is sufficiently racist for them, and they're right. They're right there for it. They're all for it. Surrender Monkey says, so monster trucks are TJ's porn. Good to know. I didn't say anything about monster trucks. I did not say one thing about monster trucks. I said car shows, car channels, car. I did not say anything about monster trucks. I have not watched one monster truck video in recent history that I can think of. Just so you know, just to be clear. I know you always want to be funny. Surrender Monkey's funny. Oh, funny. Look at Surrender Monkey. He's so funny. Funny Englishman. The funny little Englishman who drinks all day. Oh, so funny. No, I didn't say anything about monster truck. DBD says, good morning. Good morning. I was watching Stephanie Miller while I was doing the editing. So, good morning. Good morning. Belfast Bob's here. Hey, Belfast Bob. From Ireland. All the way from Ireland. Thanks, Belfast Bob, for coming on. He says, I thought it was 5 p.m. Hello, TJ and Mods. I don't know what time it is, but what is it, 8 or 9 hours difference between where I'm at and where you're at? But like I said, I was going to do 11 a.m.s and I decided to come on at 9. So. Kevin, 007 Kevin, the Troll Slayer's here. Hello, 00 Kevin. 00 Kevin. 00 Kevin. I'm going to start calling you just that. Just do a mashup. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Alton Gillespie from Texas. Hello, Alton. Good to see you. Yeah, howdy from Texas. Look at there. Oh, look at there. Oh, look at there. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Belfast Bob. Who was that? Lunatic. That was Paula White, right? Is that her name? Is Paula White? An evangelist. A really kind of whacked out, whack job evangelist type of thing. White nationalist, white Christian nationalist, all that. And also President Trump's spiritual advisor. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let that resonate. Yeah, Paula White, that crazy fucking lady. That's our president's spiritual advisor. That might explain a lot. Right there. Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Thanks for popping on in. Thank you very much. Belfast Bob says 9 Predator drones have been downed too. Jolie says, just made myself some coffee and I'm having a blueberry Nutri-Grain bar. They go well together. I've had those Nutri-Grain bars in my day. Used to keep those in the truck. Yeah, they're pretty good. Brooklyn says, be fruitful and multiply. Elizabeth Martinez is here. Buenos dias. John, hello to all peace. on Mother Earth. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. Appreciate you for popping on in. Oh, thank you for popping on in. Oh, thank you. James Jaramillo, Secretary of War Crimes. I was talking about Hegseth earlier. That guy's got to go. They all got to go. He's got to go to The Hague. Sturdy Monkey says, I'm already too drunk to drive. F coffee, cafefe, and FDJT. Put a little rum in your coffee. I don't know. Is that what people do? What do people spike coffee with? Is it rum, right? I don't know. I just drink it straight. Bug, no legs, but they're walking about. Yeah, when Trump was saying like, what did he say? Like, yeah, guys walking around, guys with no legs walking around. He's a dope. Tim Farrell, the Farrell one's here. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Tim says, lethality with warrior mentality by our lethal warriors, multitasking but listening. Hi, gang. Well, hello, Tim. Thanks for having us in the background while you're doing stuff. I do appreciate ya. DPD says, with so much shit going on, did anyone see the Nazis raided the, I think it's, it's not, that's not right. It's, what is it called? Maricopa? I think it's Maricopa. Yeah, Maricopa County voter rolls in Arizona. I think I caught a headline. I think I caught a headline of that. I don't know what happened. So make sure, folks, make sure you're registered. Check voter.org. Make sure you're registered. They might be purging people off the voter rolls. So just keep up on it. You know, make sure you're still on the rolls and you're eligible to vote. Victor Harshman's here. Hey, Vic, good to see you. Victor says Blumenthal, after getting briefed on Iran, Blumenthal is a Democratic. Is he a House rep, right, or is he a senator? But yeah, I know who you're talking about. Says we seem to be on a path toward deploying American troops on the ground in Iran. See, this is just another Trump lie. Everything that he campaigned on, pretty much, he's lied about. Everything he has said since he won the election, he's lied about. He was supposed to be the peace president. He wasn't going to lead us into wars. No forever wars. Kamala Harris, she was going to lead us into World War III. It looks like Trump is leading us into World War III. You see what's happening here? You see the bullshit from Trump? Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see just the out and out lies? That's what I was talking about earlier. Just about everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a fucking lie. Belfast Bob, it's a Nagasaki I'm worried about. Yeah. Trump has got us thinking the worst things, the worst fears, you know? YouTubing. Oh, YouTubing. I always kind of mess it up. YouTubing says Trump really wants Republicans to pass the SAVE Act. He sure does. And to which I think he's so stupid that, one, he thinks that if it gets passed, it will go into effect immediately, which it won't. And number two, I think he's too dumb to realize that I think a lot of Republicans have kind of shelved it because I think they realized that it's not going to only maybe prevent Democrats from voting, but it will prevent Republicans from voting as well. I think that's a thing. No one else has backed me up on that. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. As being a reason. DPD says also under the radar, Kansas International Airport was shut down because of bomb threats that also happened over the weekend. I did see some of that, a little bit of that too. Crazy, crazy times. Shirley Pulaski is here. Thanks for being here. A new name, a new face. So thanks for coming on in. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you will consider subscribing if you haven't already. That'd be great. Shirley says, not spending billions on steak and crabs to use up the military budget like Keg's Breath did last year. Mad Max, Slava Ukraini, absolutely. There's a couple of things that we need to not get lost in the shuffle. One is the Ukrainian-Russian war, or whatever we're calling it, the Russian aggression, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We need to not forget that. And of course, the Epstein files. We cannot, under any circumstances, let that fall by the wayside. And that, in large part, is why we are in Iran, I believe, is because of Trump's wanting to get the Epstein files and everything that he's involved with there, to get swept under the rug or forgotten about, or getting off the front pages. So let's not forget Epstein or Ukraine. DPD says the Democrats could stop voting with the axis of evil for one thing, and Schumer put his foot in his, I guess, mouth when he declared his unwavering support to Israel and Netanyahu. Yeah, I know. Look, we've had maybe just another argument for that it's time for Chuck Schumer to retire, because maybe I'm a little more sympathetic to Schumer than you are. I mean, he's old school. He's from the old way. We've been supporting Israel since its inception after World War II. We've been strong allies, proponents of them. We've supplied them with weapons. We've supplied them with money. We've been their number one ally. We've been the big brother or the big bodyguard that has said, if you fuck with Israel, you fuck with us. And I think that was valid coming out of the Holocaust. And I think it is still valid to some extent. But if we're going to have leaders in Israel like Netanyahu, then there comes a time when we need to start pulling away. Just like people are pulling away from us, a lot of our European partners, a lot of countries around the world that we've had strong relationships with, a lot of them are pulling away from us because of Trump. And we need to do the same with Israel because of Netanyahu. And I don't think it needs to be permanent, but we could say, look, as long as you've got a fucking war hawk like Netanyahu in there who is influencing what's going on in the Middle East so much that it could start a whole regional war and who knows what else. As long as you've got someone like that in charge, then we're going to back off on our support. But people like Chuck Schumer, it's really hard for them to do that. Maybe it's because of AIPAC. Maybe it's because of all the, the funding they get, campaign funding or whatever. I also think it's because of their entire life, certainly their entire political life, which for Schumer is decades and decades now. That's the way it's been. It's been Israel is a country that we give our undying support to, and we back them up, because otherwise, if not for us, I believe, especially earlier on, Israel would have immediately been taken over by all of the surrounding countries around it. So I think that there's, the old school Republicans are I mean, the old school, not old school, just politicians, Democrats and Republicans, they see it differently than maybe people coming up, and I think they need to change or get out of the way. People like Schumer, they need to come along and change their way of thinking, or get the hell out of the way. Because I am a supporter of Israel. I've always been a supporter of Israel. I've always felt that they were deserving of our help and our backing, our military backing, to keep them from getting, just obliterated from Iran and Iraq and the Saudis, and from the Lebanese and the Syrians. They all hate Israel. Egypt, they hate them too. So I've always felt like, yeah, we should support them, and we should be there to help them from anything happening like that. But like I said, if you've got this real war hawk, this hawk, like Netanyahu, who is really shady, who is a criminal, then we need to withdraw some support. That's that's what I think. So, that's all I got to say about that. Jenny. Belfast Bob, 5 p.m. in Ireland. In Ireland, it's 5 p.m. So I think we're looking at about, 7 hours? It's only 7 hours? I thought it was more than that. I keep thinking it's like 8 or 9 hours difference. So I think it's only 7. James Jaramillo, gonna get an ignition switch for the car after the show. Let's hope that's it. The Troll Slayer says I call her Paula Gray. Okay. Alrighty then. Alrighty. Swinemaker says, I thought it was funny because I'm drunk. Don't hate on non-violent drunk people. Don't make me ask the, I don't know what that is. Maybe LVPD? Maybe? To investigate hitchhiker disappearances. I guess I was supposed to be insinuating something. I don't know. Anyhow, WW says don't drive drunk, okay? Thanks, WW, by the way. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming on in. Haven't seen WW in a while. WW has been, I guess, just staying at home singing birthday songs to people. I don't know. Maybe. Belfast Bob says, stop it. My young niece just left on her own. 5 weeks Thailand. Stop what? I don't know. John Glad says, we have multiplied enough. We have been poor stewards of the world we were endowed with. Yeah, the old be fruitful and multiply. That's one of the commandments, I guess, that we had no problem fulfilling. A lot of the other ones, not so much. Mad Mac, whiskey in your cup. DPD says Bailey's Irish Cream, TJ. It's excellent hot chocolate and ice cream and coffee. Yeah, I've had that. Bailey's. It's good. It is really good. Mr. Spock says, don't say Maricopa 3 times or Carrie Lake will show up. Yeah. Yeah. WW says if they take you off the rolls in Illinois, they are obligated to send notice to your last known address. Notice that, and also notice that you live in a state with a Democratic governor. See how that works? Yeah, Richard Blumenthal. DPD says Senator, not House Rep. Senator Richard Blumenthal is from Connecticut. Yeah, I know. I've seen him on TV. He's been around for years, and I just couldn't remember exactly. But yeah, thanks for that clarification. Shreddy Monkey says, I got to go buy some beer. More beer because it's how I deal with watching YouTube. And I'm happier because the drugs I used to watch the BBC was expensive. Victor Harshman says Trump talked to Putin for over an hour yesterday. The White House didn't announce it. The Kremlin did. Who's in charge here? I guess Trump was getting his latest marching orders from Putin, from President of the United States, Putin. Woke Mike says Trump is a walking crime scene. Jolie says check your voter registration. There's the voter.org link. Yep. WW says if lies were a crime, we would have no politicians. Yeah, but you know what? There's lying politicians, and then there's fucking Trump. And we can all say, there's the old expression. It's been around for longer than I've been around on this planet. It was, how do you know when a politician is lying? If his lips are moving, right, or something like that. So yeah, this has been a thing for decades and decades and decades, probably since the beginning of even going into the old, Greek democracies and their politicians, probably. I mean, but like I said, there's that, and then there's Donald Trump, because at least with the old politicians and lying or whatever, a lot of those really weren't. I think a lot of those weren't really lies. Sometimes a politician will make a campaign promise or a campaign. They'll say what they're going to do during their stump speeches and all that kind of stuff. And then the reality is, if they get elected, then the reality is, okay, now you got to get it passed. Now you got to get support for it. You got to get other Senate or House members or whatever the position is, the office is. You've got to get that support, and then that's a whole battle and a whole fight. And sometimes that doesn't. So the thing that you campaigned on doesn't get passed. And then people will say, see, you lied. You said you were going to get highway funding for our state. Well, maybe that person tried to get it, but the other people around him wouldn't vote for it. He couldn't get the support. So did he lie? Or did it just not happen because it just didn't happen? It just wasn't in the works. So there's a lot of lies, I think, or people that call things lies that really aren't lies. But with Donald Trump, I think 99% of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just an out and out fucking lie. So to try to compare like Trump with all other politicians, and it's really a false comparison, a false equivalency. Trump is on a whole nother thing. He is a habitual fucking liar. It's a psychosis. This isn't just a campaign promise not being fulfilled. This is he just cannot stop himself from lying. You know, he can't help himself. Not to try to give him any leeway or whatever or excuse, but it is. There are these habitual liars that WW, the UN created Israel. I didn't say they didn't. I never said they didn't. I never said they didn't. WW says everybody doesn't need to think the same. Schumer knows more than we do. Well, that's probably true. But I don't know. Does he know or does he care that he looks bad? He's losing support because of his views on Israel, and I think he's losing support. DBD says something is wrong when we can consistently write blank checks. We don't really write blank checks to Israel and supply them with free health care and college. We don't supply them with anyhow. And they view abortion as a healthcare issue. Why can't we have the same? Because we have a bunch of dipshits that vote for dipshits. But I don't think we write them blank checks. We give them money for their military, for their security. And as far as the free healthcare and college and abortion, that's their people that vote that shit in and vote for policymakers that put that shit in. We need to do the same. If we want that shit, then we need to start voting for people that will put that shit in. WW, especially with Citizens United, you can't win elections without money. Yeah, but do you have to take AIPAC? Do you have to take money from things like that? AOC doesn't. Bernie Sanders doesn't. I don't think Elizabeth Warren does. They've been pretty successful in winning elections. I think there are plenty of politicians now who are learning that they don't have to take money from something controversial like that. There are plenty of other sources for money, I believe. Oh, Mad Max says usually UK is 8 hours, but they haven't changed their clocks yet. Okay, so that makes up for that hour that was off, I guess. Nola Carnes is here. Hey, Nola, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in on Nola Carnes. Good to see you. Good to see you. Belfast Bob says someone mentioned backpacking and serial killers. Oh, I guess that was something from Sunda Monkey. Sunda Monkey. Nick Rich is here, like number 47. Good day, folks. 10:18 in Vegas. Thank you so much, Nick Rich, for popping on in. So I think I'm 8 minutes behind. I'm only 8 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. I ain't little tiny little baby, little tiny little marty, about a many minutes. But boom, boom, boom. Belfast Bob, but I plead my 3rd, 4th, and 5th amendments. I cannot name them. That was mid-thread. I don't even know what that was about. DPD says Netanyahu admitted that he wanted war with Iran for 40 years. He has tried to pull many presidents into his fold, but the orange pedophile is the only one who's compromised to oblige. Yeah, I've seen the clips. I've seen the things, the montage of him saying the same thing over and over again for the last 40 years. I've seen it. So yeah, this is Netanyahu finally getting, his desires fulfilled. And Trump, I think Trump saw this as a great way to get him off the front pages with Epstein. So it worked to both of their advantages, I guess. WW says, Al Franken and his Lying Liars book exaggerate. You can't promise anything without telling a lie. Nobody can predict the future. Again, I think it depends on your definition of a lie. DPD says, my husband and I have scheduled our meeting with Representative Greg Landsman next Friday. We want answers. Oh, man, I cannot wait to hear how that goes, DPD. I cannot wait. I know you don't like to tape things or show videos or anything like that, but maybe record it for your own, for yourself, and then you can give us not necessarily a transcript, but you can just the memory of it will be preserved, and you can tell us like exactly what happened. I really I'm interested to see if this guy is actually going to see you, and then how he's going to answer your questions and stuff. Very intrigued to hear about how that goes. Victor Harshman says 20-year Army officer is under investigation for being a threat to national security because he posted support for the people of Gaza. Hegseth has ruined the U.S. military. Like in the intro, that representative there, whoever that was, I second the motion there that Pete Hegseth should resign at the very least. Lots of people talking about car issues, getting cars fixed. WW Epstein will not go away. Good, nor should it. FS Bob, your biggest screwdrivers cross both ends of the starter. Yeah, I used to have to jump my starter. I had a 59 El Camino when I was in high school, and I used to have to jump the starter with a screwdriver. Not all the time. I guess it just depended. If I didn't just, get that ignition just right, it was a weird thing. I think because I keep in my memory, or as I think back, I'm like, why didn't I just get a new starter? But I don't think it was just a starter. It might have been something else that was more than just a starter. And so it's like if I didn't hit that ignition just right, then it wasn't going to start. And then I had to get out, get the screwdriver, and jump that starter with the screwdriver. It was a hassle, but it wasn't every time. It was like, I don't know. As time got on, it got worse. It was like 10% of the time, and then eventually it was almost like 50% of the time. I think I finally maybe figured out what was wrong. I forget now because that's over 45 years ago now, probably, right? Late 70s. I just remember that having to jump that starter with the screwdriver. What, Mike? 12:30 in Pensacola, Florida. I think I'm only 2 minutes behind you. I think I'm only 2 minutes behind. All 2 minutes behind. 2 little tiny little baby little minutes behind. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. DBD says we will never create any change or accountability as long as we have politicians taking money from AIPAC. They are in essence playing both sides, and it will never work. Their donors come first. So give them hell. Let's give them hell. You know, we should give them hell. And if politicians are taking money from organizations like that we don't like, we need to tell them, stop it. Find your money somewhere else. Do a grassroots campaign. Be like Bernie Sanders, where the average campaign was $27. And he came pretty close to becoming president of the United States. And he's held his seat. Now, granted, it's a smaller state. He's an independent. He has to sort of kowtow to some of the people there in order to keep his seat, I think, as a Democrat or as a independent that caucuses with Democrats. But my point is it's not impossible. I think Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and others who take big AIPAC contributions, I think you could still be popular enough to win your seats, your offices, and find campaign money elsewhere. But I guess if they keep, they see the polling. They know what it is. That Hakeem Jeffries probably doesn't feel threatened at all about losing his seat. Neither does Chuck Schumer. So until they feel that pressure, the solenoid switch. Yeah. I guess it was the solenoid, maybe. It was like you would get that screwdriver and hit both the terminals on it. That's usually a bad solenoid. Yeah, I think I finally figured it out probably after a few years of jumping that. Like I said, at first it was like a 10% thing, and then it was like 30%, and then it was like 50% of starting it or not starting it, and then once it was like beyond that, then I think I finally. But I was in high school, and to get a part, even if it was like a $20 part or a $50 part or a $40 part, even if I went to a junkyard and got one, it was like a big thing, I've been watching so many of these car channels. Not monster trucks. I have nothing about, but just regular car channels. I feel like I could. No, I know I couldn't, but I feel like I could completely break down an engine and rebuild an engine, rebuild a tranny. I could make my own exhaust system. I could do body fabrication. I feel like I could do all that. That's how much I've been watching all of those car channels, and I feel like a pro now. Of course, if I were to try, it would be a horrible disaster. I was never really good at working on cars. My dad was really, really good. My dad could do that. He could rebuild an engine. He would rebuild carburetors. I remember one time he gave me a carburetor to rebuild. We had, just to do it, And I remember rebuilding a carburetor. It had a little carburetor rebuild kit. And it was just, I think it was just, it wasn't like a 4-barrel Holly or anything like that. I think it was just a simple little carburetor. I remember doing that. So my dad was trying to teach me, but I just felt like I didn't have the aptitude like my dad, because my dad was just a natural genius when it came to anything, really. When it came to, he was like the jack of all trades, but I think he wasn't like that's sort of derogatory, like meaning like a lot of shit, but you're not like an expert at anything. But I think my dad was kind of an expert in a lot of stuff. So, and when it came to cars, my dad could rebuild engines. He could tear them down, break them down, and put them back together, all that kind of shit. And I just felt like I didn't have that gene, even though I did a little bit. I did rebuild that carburetor, and I would do basic things, just like changing the oil, changing the spark plugs, doing little tune-ups and stuff like that. But, change out the starter or an alternator or tightening fan belt, replacing fan belts, and I could do that kind of shit. But my dad, he could do anything. If I had my dad's knowledge right now, as far as doing cars, I would love to have my own little car channel where I find cars and I bring them back to life. Watch those videos. If you guys like cars, watch those channels where they get these old cars and they bring them back to life, man. It's just amazing. I wish I could do that. I wish I could, man. It'd be so fun. I just think it'd be fun, there's something so I don't know, is it rewarding or whatever, but and kind of soothing to me to watch them take these cars and clean them up. I mean, they're literally rust buckets sitting out in a field that look, you think there's no way that car will ever run ever again, and they get them and they get them running and driving, and they get them looking nice. It's just amazing. I highly recommend those channels. There's something very cathartic about watching those channels. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Belfast engaged solenoid beside pre-engaged solenoid is attached to a starter. Yeah, the one I had was attached. It was like two pieces, but I think there was some braces on it or something, and it was all kind of connected. If I remember, like I said, it's been 45 years, so I don't know. DPD says, anyone in chat from Georgia, vote for Sean Harris. He's up for MTG seat. Vote today. Yeah, Sean Harris, great candidate. And it would be nice if he could get that, if he could grab that seat. It's a ruby red district. MTG is out. She's retired, right? She's resigned and retired. I don't know who the Republican is. So this might be our best shot we've had, because the last, 2 or 3 cycles that MTG was up, we've put some pretty good candidates, I think, up against her, but such a ruby red district that they couldn't flip it. But now that she's gone, I really don't know anything about the Republican candidate. This might be our best shot in a while, trying to flip that seat. But again, it's ruby red district. So, but yeah, get out there and vote. You just never know, man. You just never know. And voting's not going to hurt. Just get out there and vote, man. Woke Mike says car parts are going way up in price. Everything is. Everything's going up. Like I said, the gas station, there's one over by my second bus, the transfer where I transfer it, the 7-Eleven gas station. Last week it was like $3.39 a gallon. Now it's like $4.19 a gallon. It's crazy. Mr. Spock, I like carb rebuilds. WWE. I was in college and using my dad's old Maverick to get to student teaching. Flat broke and the car kept going bad. WW, I can change oil, but why should I when mechanics need to work? Oh, hey, I haven't changed my own oil in, I don't know, 30 years more, maybe? I don't know. I can do it. But yeah, after a while, it's like, hey, for, what is it, $39.99, I could get an oil change. Now, I don't know. I haven't had any cars to change the oil in a long time, so I don't know what the prices are now. But Woke Mike, nothing has a carburetor anymore. Well, if you get one of those old cars in the field that you're going to bring back, unless you're going to stick fuel injection on it, then you better learn how to put on a carb. Robert Perez says, "Hey Johnny, my dad's better than yours." Laughing out loud. WW, my dad's dead, deader than yours. You guys are not funny. Belfast Bob, remember feeler gauges? Fucking nightmare every tap it. Mr. Spock says William Shatner tells a story as a kid. G.E. Still? As a kid, I don't know. Maybe he would steal the neighbor's motorcycle at night, then bring it back. Then one night it wasn't there. He asked him where the motorcycle was, but he said he sold it because it was using too much gas. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Victor Harshman says, my grandson and I have a YouTube channel where we work on our Volkswagens. Awesome. Oh, I will definitely check it out, Victor. So that's youtube.com/Victor's Volkswagens. At Victor's Volkswagen. Let's check that out, man. I'm definitely interested in that. Absolutely. Guys, check out Victor's channel. I love those kind of channels. I'm seriously thinking that, you know how you like fantasize about shit? Because at this point, it's just a total fantasy. But here's my fantasy. That I move to Big Bear, get a house with a garage, and that my son and I make a YouTube channel where we work on cars. Isn't that silly? I'm almost embarrassed to even bring it up. But I would love to do that. I would love to move to Big Bear, get a house with a nice big garage, and me and my son just make YouTube videos working on cars and repairing cars. Even though neither one of us are really very mechanical. So I think it would probably be funny because neither one of us know what the fuck we're doing. My son might know more than me at this point with cars and shit, but I think that would be, that's my fantasy. Maybe in a couple years, I'm kind of timelining it. Or I might be able to move back up to Big Bear, and maybe me and my son could make a YouTube. I haven't even brought this up to him, so I don't even know if he would be on board. But I think he would. I think he might. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Me and my son do a YouTube channel working on cars. But that's sort of my fantasy now, just from watching all these car shows on YouTube. David Weiss of Denver's here. Hey, David, good to see you. Car channels. I like auto auction rebuilds. I watched him. Monkey Wrench Mike, who is the auto auction rebuild guy's buddy, and so he has a channel. I do watch his. Car Wizard, I don't think I watch. Hoovie's Garage, his wife's channel, April's Garage. I don't watch those, but I do watch. I've been watching Tom's Refurbs. Those kids, their kids are a bunch of like 20-year-olds, and they're crazy and they're funny. And then their dad gets in on it. So it's not all 20-year-olds, but sometimes the dad's in there. So Tom's Refurbs, I think it's called Driveway Finds. I like those guys. One was a shop teacher. One was used to be a student. They find old cars, drag them to the garage, they get them going, rebuilding them. There's a couple of guys, Chris Fix. I think it's called Chris Fix. That's a good one, where he gets cars and he fixes them up and resells them and like flips them. There's a couple of the flipping ones I like because they. There's another one that's like I forget, Rob's DIY or something like that, or Robbie's DIY. I've just started watching that one where they buy used cars and they fix them up and then they flip them. And I'm not so interested so much in trying to flip cars, but I just like it because they have a good kind of a checklist of things to do, things to look for when you're buying a used car, and how to fix them up. And like even if you're not flipping it, it would be nice to if I got a used car, it'd be nice to kind of go through it and fix it up. So I kind of like those channels. There's a few others that I watch too. WW, I'm registering red again. Dems don't offer anything but incumbents, one candidate for each office. And I'm sure you'll just do so much better with the Republicans. I'm sure you'll do so well. So good luck. Good luck. Belfast Bob says that's why we got old Mercedes 1980s, 500,000 miles, easy peasy, and wigwam on roof Rainbow Warriors. DPD says I like the house design shows and cooking shows and the scare videos. I really love the kitchen design shows. They soothe me, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Well, that's right up your alley, DPD. And I don't mind those type of shows. I could see me getting into, because I kind of get into these grooves or whatever, where I kind of watch. And I think I've kind of gotten into. I used to get into like the house flipping ones, and fixing up houses. Type of thing. I used to kind of watch some of those, like way back in the day, way back. Jolie, thank you so much. Putting Victor Harshman's YouTube channel link. Thank you so much, Jolie. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go over there real quick, and I'm gonna subscribe to you, Victor. There, I subscribed, and there's Victor and the garage. I think maybe. I'm just seeing the thumbnail with a yellow bug. Victor's Volkswagens. Victor's Volkswagens. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for putting that in, Jolie. I appreciate you. And so you guys go over there, give Victor a subscribe, a subscription, and then check him out. He's got 688 subscribers, 63 videos. Let's get that going, and just have fun with it. Watch those; they're just fun. And like I say, and like DPD, there's so much. That's a really kind of a cool thing about YouTube. There's so much that there's something for everybody on YouTube, I think. So go check them out. WW, check out similar YouTubes that already exist. Don't know what that's about. Nick Rich just subbed Victor. Thank you, Nick Rich. Thank you for subbing there. I will definitely be watching Victor's channel because I've been thinking about getting a bug too. Bad Mac, check out Gas Monkey, TJ. I think I might have, maybe not recently, but over the years, I think I might have. I'll have to revisit that one. I know you like Gas Monkey. You've mentioned him before. Jolie says, Victor Harshman, I subbed. My dream car is 60s to 70s Volkswagen van. Yeah, I like those Volkswagen vans too. DPD says, who says it has to remain a fantasy, TJ? It could become reality, a little determination. Well, I think it will be. But I'm kind of on a time frame to moving to Big Bear, and I think I might be a couple years away. And it's a really easy fantasy to fulfill. It's not like, I fantasize that I could be an NFL defensive lineman. That ain't happening. Okay, that ain't happening. But getting a house with a garage and doing YouTube videos with my son, working on the car, that's pretty doable. That's within the realm of possibility, at least. And the fact that we don't really know what we're doing, that would probably be the gimmick or whatever of getting people to watch and seeing how bad we can fuck up shit. It'd be the complete opposite of all the ones I've been watching. These guys are consummate pros, pretty much, that build these cars up. Our channel would be just the opposite, probably. Anyhow, Josh C's is here. Always good to see Josh C's in the chat room. Paul Burrows just got back from signing up for work at age 71. Well, I hope it all goes well for you. I know you got laid off or whatever, and recently, so I hope you find something, Paul. Up there in Idaho. WW. Who's the decider? I'm the decider. I'm the decider. Nick Rich, VWs are the only bugs I can handle. Street Monkey says, TJ, you need to buy a Robin Reliant and film your customers' reactions about traveling in a 1970s British death machine. None of that of which you just said makes any sense to me whatsoever. Mad Max says, I had a 76 VW camper bus. I love that thing, but too low power and never any heat from the heater. Apart from that, I loved my camper bus with the pop-up top. I sub Victor too. Awesome. Was that a Vanagon? Was that a Volkswagen Vanagon? I've always said Vanagon. I remember my daughter, back when she was around high school or right out of high school age, so I guess around 10 years ago or whatever, she really wanted a Vanagon. But I remember she was calling it, I think she was calling it Vanagon or something like that. And then I was like, do you mean Vanagon? And she's like, no, it's Vanagon or something like that. I go, and then she got me doubting myself. And I was like, I think it's pronounced Vanagon. Anyhow, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's right. I don't know. I don't think she wants one anymore, though. Jolie says, same. James Henry Slugbug Red. If you didn't say the color, the other person could call the color. Oh yeah. We called it, we didn't call it Slugbug. We called it, we had a name for that. We played that game. It wasn't called Slugbug, though. It was some other weird name. Like, I can't even remember. I don't think we called it Slugbug. But we were on road trips and we would play that game. Yeah. But it was called like, it was a weird name. I don't even know. It's so weird. I can't even remember it. Slugbug makes more sense because you slug the other person, if they didn't see it on time or if you were first. But we called it something else. Maybe is there anyone else in the chat that remembers the name I'm thinking of? Mr. Spock, if there's a woman who pops bubble wrap, crinkles paper, and mouth clicks into a microphone, then there's a channel for everyone. There probably is, Mr. Spock. I would not doubt it if that channel exists. I be YouTubing says the only shows I am interested in is watching the ones that are flipping congressional, Senate, and presidential seats to blue. No, I get that. I mean, yeah, it's important. I mean, that I'm not saying that shouldn't be like our number one priority. Is to flip these seats, to blue. But again, like I was saying, I think we need to take little breaks. you know, more power to you. IB YouTubing, more power to you. But you know, I think I watch my fair share of political stuff, and it's nice to take a break from it. You know, like right now, I've got Rush playing on the on YouTube. I can barely hear it. James Armino, we didn't play that way. We also played Popeye when seeing a car with a headlight out. Did you pop the person in the eye? What's the other name for slug bug? Am I the only one? We called it something else. It was like Verklappen or something. It was weird. It was like, I don't even know. It was a weird, almost like German sounding name that we'd say. WW, my defroster wasn't working right, thinking it must be plugged up. Yeah, clean out that cowl. That front hood cowl, or the piece between the hood and the windshield. Clean that shit out, man. You probably got leaves and rat shit in there and squirrel shit. Acorns. Fucking clean your car out, man. Perdiddle! That's it. We called that Padiddle. Wait, well, we called the slug bug game. I think you said Perdiddle. I don't know. I think it might have been Perdiddle. No clue where that word came from. I don't know either, but our version of slug bug was Perdiddle. I don't remember doing the headlight one, but I remember the Volkswagen one. And I don't know how we came up with how Perdiddle came up, but Serenity Monkey says the Robin Reliant was a 3-wheel car, very unstable but hilarious to look at. Paul Burrows, I had a 65 Chevy Impala SS Supersport 396. Nice. I've just watched I think Tom Refurb. That was a 65 Galaxy. So it wasn't Tom Refurb. I watched another channel where I think they just refurbed a 65 Chevy. In fact, I'm sure of it because I remember that watching it because it reminded me of when I was 6 years old. My dad went and bought a brand spanking new 66 Chevy Impala, and the body styles had changed from 65 to 66. 65 was much more squared off, and 66 was a little bit more kind of rounded off and stuff. I'm watching these old shows, and it just reminds me of old cars when I was a kid, you know. And I love those old cars. Aaron West, punch buggy, no punch back. I had bruises from my brother. Punch buggy. Yeah, we played Perdiddle, but it was for Volkswagens. It wasn't for the headlight thing. Victor Harshman says VW Vanagons 1980 to 1992. So that 76 that I think Mad Mac or whatever was talking about wasn't around yet. Apparently. Mad Max says my mom had an old VW Bug that had no gas gauge it had a lever on the passenger side firewall that was for a reserve tank. Once you ran out of fuel, she had to keep her mileage all the time to refuel. Yeah, wow. What year was that? Said it was old. That sounds like it was like probably something from the 40s or 50s or something. Hey, Walter Makarovich is here. Hey, Walter, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Well, thanks for popping on in, Walter Makarovich. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Walter Makarovich asks, do you accept the apology from Fox News for getting caught in their lie this past Saturday? I don't. These lies have been going on for 10 plus years. Now, are you talking about the lie that they showed a clip from Trump 10 years ago when in his first term, when he was doing the, what do they call it? The dignified, I forget, when the dead bodies come back from the battlefield and they have the flag draped coffins and the president is there for that dignified transfer, I think they call it. And they didn't want to show the one from the other day because he had his stupid hat on, which was from his merchandise catalog. And they even Fox News didn't want to show that, so they showed a clip from 10 years ago when he wasn't wearing the hat, and they didn't explain it. They got caught, that was an old clip. I guess they apologized, but they never. I don't think they ever retracted, or they never did show the actual footage on their channel. They never did show the actual footage of him standing there with his stupid hat on, and he wears it like this. He doesn't even know how to wear a hat. He wears it like this, maybe because he wants the shit to be shown. Yeah, I don't forgive Fox News for anything. Fuck Fox News. Serena Monkey, rat shit. Hey, that's fucking Wes's car I'm talking about. He lives in Illinois. He probably lives under trees, and there's all rats and mice and squirrels and shit running through his car. He's out in Hickville out there. DPD says, my husband was telling me about rage rooms where you can go and beat the shit out of old cars, televisions, and other inanimate objects. I'm seriously considering booking a room because I'm ready. Wow. Yeah. Whew. I think I've heard of those over the years. And you can really, I guess, let out a lot of anger and frustration and everything. WW is interested. How much does it cost? Mad Mac. My rage room full of Trump merch. Yeah, just put all Trump shit in there. Yeah, and just smash it all up. Jolie says, my daughter recently got hit in the face in Derby, left a bruise, went out to dinner with her boyfriend, and the server kept giving her boyfriend dirty looks. Realized later it was probably the bruise on her face. Oh, yeah. That could be a problem. Yeah. Victor Harshman says, my wife wants everybody to know that the yellow bug is her dream car on YouTube channel. Alrighty. I just looked at it from the icon there, and Sure is very nice looking. And more Fox News equals fake news. Yep. Fake news. It's fake news. DPD says WW, they range from $25 to $50. It's just about these rage rooms. For 30 minutes, they also have packages for larger groups, 2 to 6 people, $50, $160 for 30 to 60 minutes. For larger groups, the range is $160 to $400 for 45 to 90 minutes. Aaron says, we did that. It's called Smash. It was so great, smashing dishes and a clock radio. You know what? I'm surprised. I have not heard of them having that in Vegas. I'm surprised they don't have that here in Vegas. Because they've got so much stuff here. Maybe you guys gave me an idea to start a business here in Vegas. A Smash room. Mr. Spock, how about a rage bait room? Belfast Bob says just look into Mar-a-Lago. And do it. Say you understand the ticket was for smashing time. Sooner Monkey says, did you know when Trump refused to honor the dead soldiers at Omaha Beach in France was him being a dick? I saw Obama in a Black Hawk land closed by and deliver a speech on the 75th anniversary. While Burroughs Daylight Savings Time, only a white man would cut off the top of the shirt and sew it on the bottom and say it is longer. Yeah, I've seen that meme before. IB YouTubing says Fox News was created to elevate the right-wing propaganda. Of course, that's Rupert Murdoch. You would have thought they would have learned from having settled $707 million with dominion over voter machines, and which is a tremendous amount of money. It's a tremendous amount of money, but for Rupert Murdoch, that just might be the cost of doing business. You know, just the cost of doing business. Because even though they lost that lawsuit and they paid all that money, it doesn't seem to have really changed them. They're still just as big lying liars and propagandists that they've ever been. Right-wing propagandists that they've always been. It didn't slow them down one bit. DPD, has anyone ever tried an escape room before? I did it with my kids a few years ago. We did one. It was for Father's Day. We did a escape room, and I didn't have a good time really because it's like I didn't have a prescription yet, and I was still using readers like I'm doing right now. But I have prescription glasses right here. But for this, it's just easier to use the readers. And so I was having a hard time because what they do, it's like you're kind of in the dark. The one we went to, it would be dark, and then you would have to find ways to turn the lights on. And then once we found the lights or whatever, then you have to look for these clues. And so I'm constantly going like this and like this, and my glasses were on and off because these were just readers. These might be even the same readers I was wearing that day. I don't know, because this has been probably 5 years ago by now. And so I was just having a hard time trying to find the clues. I felt like I was kind of like not contributing, because you're supposed to work as a group to figure out all these clues and stuff. And I felt like I was sort of letting down the team because I couldn't see. It was hard for me to see shit, you know. But it was still fun just because I was with my kids and my family, and we did it, and it was a fun thing from that aspect of it. But if I had had my prescription glasses, which at the time these are my first prescription glasses ever that I've ever gotten, and I just got these a couple years ago, and I do need to renew the prescription. But it was fun. I only did it the one time, and it was down in California. They've got quite a few of them up here in Vegas. That's why I was wondering if they have a smash room up here, because I know they have lots of escape rooms and stuff. Mr. Spock says, I got 3 dozen eggs. I think I'll make a quiche or 2 today. Real men don't eat quiche. Shreddy Monkey says, Rupert Murdoch and Maxwell were the biggest right-wing propagandists in UK tabloid history. Murdoch won. Because, yeah, I don't even know who Maxwell is. Maxwell's smart, yeah? Mr. Spock, my escape room as a kid was either the closet or the dryer. Wow. That sounds scary. That sounds a bit scary. Ghislaine's dad. Her dad was a big media mogul. Was he a media mogul in the UK? Wow. I didn't know that. Oh, didn't know that. Superman Monkey says, yep. All right then. Well, all right then. Mr. Spock, it's a joke. The Ghislaine Maxwell's dad thing is a joke. I suggest if you guys are going to tell jokes that they at least be funny. That's what I suggest. All right, what else is going on? Anything else going on? I'm just looking at my feed here on YouTube. Of course, I've got all these car ones in there right now. Here's one about doing something. Oh, I just accidentally clicked on a stupid Donald Trump AI thing. I don't want to. Now that's going to be in my feed. Here's a car. Here's a really cool looking affordable classic cars. Looks like a this on the thumbnail. I think it's a Cutlass maybe. They've got the 20 affordable classic cars, from cheapest to most expensive. I'll be checking that one out later. That's for sure. I would love to get me an old classic car. Let's see. Anything else interesting going on? Here's one. Don't buy 4 used cars you should never buy. It's all cars shit in my feed right now. Here's this one. Forget gas stations. Try this instead. Oh, it's like, I don't know what you can call a mobile gas service out. That sounds stupid. How to test drive and buy a used car. That's in here. What's in my subs? Yesterday, I watched over 2 hour long video on the Adam and the Wu Memorial Celebration of Life. That was a really good one. Uh-oh. Boston Brian's on. Boston Brian? Who's that guy? So here's Tom Hartman. He's over. Hassan Piker is on. Boston Brian is on. Tony Michaels is on. So I want to thank you guys, the 30 or so people who are here for hanging out with me. You've got a lot to choose from. Lots of stuff way better than me. So I appreciate you guys being here. I'm just looking through. We got Tara Buster Tuesdays with Tara Devlin. I guess that's over. Said it streamed 47 seconds ago. So I think I'm about ready to end the show. So yeah, go over to one of those shows, Boston Brian. Probably Boston Brian, I guess. Let's see here. There we go. Let me get back to my chat here. There's Sandy Foltz. We were wondering where you were at, Sandy. Sandy, we're just about ready to end the show. You got here just in time for the end. Mr. Spock, I was trying to get a 460 motor to put in it. Sat for years, then got rid of it. Oh, what did you have? A Galaxy 500. I had a 65 Ford Galaxy 500. I would love to have that again. Mine was the inline 6. It wasn't the V8. But even that, I would be happy with an inline 6. I'm not hot rodding around. I'm not street racing. I'm not drag racing. I would love a nice inline 6. They got plenty of power, you know. And if you keep your foot out of it, you can get decent mileage out of them. They're big and roomy. I had that when I was in college, and I had 4 Brooklyn, New York roommates, and they always wanted, and they didn't have cars because they just they came out here from New York. So I was the guy with the car, and I was always driving those guys around. And we had plenty of room. And these dudes, they're pretty big dudes and everything. And my Galaxy fit us all perfectly. Aaron West, I got to do some blood work. Catch you at Hal's later. All right, Aaron, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you so much, as always. And yeah, we'll see you at Hal's. Victor says, hi, have a great day. Sandy, I thought you started at 2 my time. Well, if you were in here and you did say hi to Jolie, and if you would have read it, it would have said when it was starting. I changed it, as I have the right to do. I have the right to change the time. Anyhow, Mr. Spock and fuel efficiency. DPD says yes. TJ Robert Maxwell owned the Daily Mirror and Maxwell Communication Corporation on November 5th, 1991. He fell off his yacht. Oh, I remember that story. And Lydia Ghislaine supposedly the fall overboard while taking a pee. Yeah, right. I remember that now. I remember that. I forgot that he was some sort of media person that owned media outlets and stuff. I do remember that about him taking a leak and fell off and all that kind of shit. Yeah. Josh C says they say the inline 6 is the most balanced style of engine. I think I've had a few of those cars with the inline 6 and plenty of power. And you could probably, I'm sure there are things you could do if you want to make it quicker. A lot of that has to do with your mainly your rear end differential and stuff like that. If you want something a little quicker off the line or whatever. Mr. Spock says my parents had a 75 or 74 Oldsmobile Tornado, had the 454 barrel, 4-barrel, past everything but a gas station. Yeah. Yeah. See, those were in the days when no one really gave a shit about gas mileage. You really, really didn't. Because even if you adjust for inflation and all that kind of shit, still it was cheaper. I mean, I can remember when gas was 25 cents a gallon and 28 cents a gallon. And this is in the 70s, like the early and mid 70s. And I remember, I think when it hit 30 cents or maybe 35 cents, I remember we were at the gas station and my dad got out of the car and he just looked up at the sign, the sign that has the price. And he goes, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It actually hit 30 cents. And I remember he was pissed, because and it was because prices were going up, But still, even then, if you adjust for inflation or something, I mean, I don't remember like 25 cents or 28 cents a gallon being like an oh my god, I'm only gonna buy 2 gallons because I can't afford to fill the thing up. I mean, I don't remember that. Now maybe that's because my dad had a really good union job and made a pretty good living, and so those type of things weren't an issue really. But oh, Sandy says my son tried to kill himself last night. I'm really sorry to hear that, Sandy. I hope he's okay. I'm really sorry to hear that. I don't know what's going on, but I hope that your son will recover and will work out whatever issues going on in his life. Sunnyful says I was video chatting with him and he pointed a knife to his neck. Well, again, I hope he works out whatever issues he's going through. And I hope there's someone there. I know you guys live in different states, so I hope that maybe there's someone you could send over to check on him and maybe try to help him out or something. I don't know. Josh says, I remember 90 cents a gallon. I'm old enough to remember under 30 cents. This is back in the early 70s and stuff. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and we'll call it a day. Thank you guys so much for being here. We only hit 2 of 5 on the goal, but boy did we hit some good goals there. Michael McAndrews, $50 super chat, and DPD with a $50 super chat. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. It really helps to keep the show going and growing. And remember, other ways you guys can support the show is liking, subscribing, and sharing. That's a really great way to help support the show. I'm planning on being back again on Thursday. I know I've been saying 11 a.m. Maybe it'll be 9, maybe it'll be 11. I don't know. Just keep a lookout. Hit the bell notification button, and things are kind of up in the air right now. While I'm trying to do some other stuff and get my life a little bit more in order. Anamore says, have a good shift tonight. Thank you, Anamore. Yeah, I got to get going. Got to get cleaned up and ready to go. So, all right, guys, I'll see you there. I guess I can go ahead, since I was just over there and I grabbed that. That's the Boston Brian link. If you want to go raid Boston Brian, if you go over there, though, tell them, say this is a Trucker John raid or something. Also, we have ways of supporting the show with Buy Me a Coffee, there's the link that Jolie put in, and also the PayPal link. Thank you, Jolie, for doing that. And like I said, memberships, we have memberships starting at $1.99 a month. And you can do super chats like DPD and Michael McAndrews did today. Now, they don't have to be $50. You know, they can do, I think, as low as $1.99 on that too. So every little bit helps. But again, I don't want anyone contributing any money if it's, you know, if you can't do it. Don't do it. Just liking, subscribing, and sharing. Those are free. And those help the show also. So, you know, I don't want anyone doing something that they, you know, can't afford to do. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sandy. I hope your son's going to be okay. Make sure you stay in touch with him and, you know, try to help him out with whatever's going on, you know. And I guess that's it for now. I'll see you guys Thursday, either 9 or 11. I don't know. It just depends, I guess, on how late or I get home from work and all that kind of stuff. So if I can get up early or not. So just be on the lookout. You guys are awesome. The only thing left to do now, of course, is the words of wisdom. So go ahead and get your pen and pad out so you can write this down. Because these are great words of wisdoms. And, you know, so you guys ready? I've been giving you guys ample time to get your writing materials and your paper ready. So you should be ready for now. Okay, ready? So for today's words of wisdom on Tuesday, March 10th,
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. key. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for us. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.